Today on The Young and the Restless, Tucker witnesses a Diane and Phyllis run-in. Ashley surprises her fiancé, and Christine puts Phyllis on notice. At Society, Tucker suggests to Phyllis that if she could get Summer and Kyle back together, it would go a long way to earning Jack's forgiveness. Phyllis informs him they're not using her daughter in this scheme, but he can count on her not to back down. Tucker goes on about how unpredictable that Carson guy is, and Phyllis points out he already gave a statement to the police. Tucker can invalidate that in a heartbeat. At the Abbott mansion, Ashley tells Diane that Phyllis was granted bail and doesn't even have to wear an ankle monitor like you-know-who. She warns that Phyllis could show up anywhere. She doubts she'll do any prison time. Diane is sure Christine will take the charges very seriously. Ashley wouldn't blame Diane for anything she might do. The brunette says she'll be fine. Ashley mocks, "Oh right, because of all that therapy." She recalls Diane had her hands around Phyllis' neck the last time they were together. Diane is going to focus on her own life and suggests Ashley do the same. Ashley would love to forget about her, but she's in her home and in her head. Diane tells Ashley that Tucker really does love her, and she shouldn't take that for granted. Ashley thinks Diane talks a good game, but when she comes face to face with Phyllis, it will be a different story. Diane ends the conversation by heading out the door. At Society, Tucker wonders what Christine would say if she found out Phyllis's witness had been bribed. Phyllis points out that he would be incriminating himself. Tucker's unconcerned. Phyllis will do what he wants but repeats that Summer will not be a part of it. Tucker reminds her he can be zen or he can be ruthless. It's her call. Phyllis will take care of Diane. Just then, Diane walks in and spots them. She approaches the table. Tucker grins in anticipation. At the Abbott mansion, Ashley takes a call from Brian in New York. She listens and then asks, "Jack did what?" Billy comes in and notices Ashley seems chipper. They talk about Phyllis' return and Kyle and Summer's separation. Billy loves a good family catch-up, but wants to know why she called him over there. Ashley doesn't like it that people see her as the bad guy in her own father's company when the real bad guy is living upstairs with Jack. She knows Billy doesn't like Tucker, but he's not the one keeping secrets around there. What's up with Jack? He snuck off to New York. What's that about? At Society, Tucker tells Phyllis and Diane that biting, scratching, and hair-pulling are all legal. Diane's not having a cat fight. She tells Phyllis, "Welcome home. You look fabulous." She was furious when she first found out what she did, but then realized they were both victims of Jeremy Stark. Tucker smirks as Diane assures Phyllis she's ready and willing to move on. Phyllis asks, "Are you for real?" Diane understands if she's skeptical of her sincerity. Tucker thinks Phyllis should be wary of Diane's new outlook. They both tell him to butt out. Tucker snaps and bangs his fist on the table and says, "Will you quit wasting time? Tell her how you feel." Robert Scott Wilson at the 2022 Daytime Emmys. Diane tells him to stay out of it. She thinks he and Ashley would love to have Phyllis as an ally in the war against her, but she guesses Phyllis has more pressing things to deal with right now. She has to face the consequences of her actions in court. Phyllis thanks Diane for her compassion. Tucker asks if that's the best she's got. It is the best she's got right now. Phyllis excuses herself. Tucker congratulates Diane on her performance. Diane moves to another table. Tucker follows and goes on about the subtext of hatred in her performance. Diane wonders why he was with Phyllis in the first place. Tucker says he has to give the first round to Phyllis. He thinks Diane's benevolent act will backfire on her when Phyllis walks away from her charges scot-free. "You went down hard today, without a single punch." Diane tells him to go to hell. He says he's been there. It's overrated. At the GDAC, Christine recalls confronting Phyllis about hitting her and Paul with a rental car back in the day. Christine's phone rings and she tries to assure someone official that she has everything under control with Phyllis's case. Just then, Phyllis appears. Christine ends her call and taunts, "Well, look who is out and about." Phyllis is sure she'll do everything in her power to see that she goes to prison for the rest of her life. Christine vows she won't bend the law because of a personal vendetta. That's Phyllis's area of expertise. She'll try the case honestly and fairly. Phyllis sneers and enjoy every minute of it. At the Abbott mansion, Billy tells Ashley that he didn't know Jack went to New York. They spar about what she's planning on taking with her to her new company with Jabut. He warns her if there is any aggressive moves, they'll respond in kind. Having reached an impasse, Billy gets up to leave. Tucker walks in and Billy crabs that he'll never get used to him having a key to the house. Billy goes and Tucker asks Ashley what he missed. She replies, trouble. Ashley explains that an old colleague of hers from New York called. Jack's there taking meetings with a board member and attorneys. He wants to counter her move to take back what's hers. Tucker assures he's found some loopholes in the contracts she signed. They just have to prove cause. He wants to talk about something more urgent, our wedding. Ashley doesn't think now is the time for that conversation. She has too much going on with business. Tucker wants to throw their wedding in Jack's face. Talk turns to Diane and Phyllis. Tucker reports that the showdown was underwhelming. He adds that it all seemed like one big performance. Ashley asks if they can trust Phyllis. Tucker says she knows he holds the key to her freedom. He actually thinks it was smart for her to play along with Diane. Let's give her time, she'll come through. In the meantime, let's talk about the wedding. Ashley is going to battle with Jack and can't deal with it right now. Tucker's not buying it. This was part of their plan to throw Jack off balance. Ashley says, maybe I don't want to use our wedding as a weapon anymore. He asks if marrying him for real has become more important to her. At society, Diane flashes to Phyllis taunting her in the hotel suite at the gala. She cringes as she remembers strangling Phyllis on the desk. Diane gets a text from Jack and smiles. Just then, Billy walks in. They go over Phyllis's release. Diane assures him she's got it under control. Billy is glad. They have bigger problems. He explains Ashley found out about Jack's trip to New York and is suspicious. He didn't give anything away. Billy needs to know if she's serious about not stepping down from Jabbat. If she's staying, they may need her help. Diane's not going anywhere. She's officially becoming an abbot soon, and no one is harming their family business without a fight. In the GCAC, Phyllis and Christine snipe at each other. Chris lights into the redhead about her revenge scheme. She's going to continue to follow the evidence. Phyllis says it will show she killed a man in self-defense. Christine questions the credibility of her witness. Phyllis argues that Stark was a monster. Christine has a final question. Do you have something else you want to confess? Phyllis doesn't understand what she's implying. Christine questions if she turned herself in out of the goodness of her heart. Phyllis had to come back because her kids needed her. She knows it was a big risk, but maintains her faith in the justice system. Christine has learned that things are never simple where Phyllis is concerned. She doesn't believe she ever would have come back if she wasn't sure she was safe and could exonerate herself. Something feels off and Christine is determined to find out what. I'll see you in court. At the Abbott manse, Tucker asks Ashley if her feelings about their marriage have changed. Ashley admits that marrying him for real has become more important because she's falling in love with him. Tucker wonders if this is a clever dodge. Ashley assures him she's sincere. Tucker couldn't be happier. Ashley kisses him.